We all know Arjuna was ill treated and his wife was abused in public by his own relatives. When such a traumatic experience was given to Arjuna and his wife, Krishna advised Arjuna it was his duty to fight those relatives who are against the path of Dharma. He also stood on the side of Arjuna and helped him to wage this war and made him successful out of this battle. Similarly, keeping Lord Krishna in my heart and who is guiding me to engage in this battle against my own family and my relatives, which are supposed to be my support network, but rather was always my abusive relations and was engaging in narcissistic abuse since my birth. They had literally destroyed my life, health, career, my relationships, and whatnot. So it is my duty to engage in this war against my family by exposing the abuse and documenting the abuse in the public platform like YouTube. So I would like to make a series of videos on what is a narcissistic abuse and then make a detailed documentation of my own abuse with sufficient evidences exposing my abusers. Also, to declare that I have no contact with such abusive people, and hence I request the society to not consider our relationships anymore happening. I welcome all the viewers who have come to watch all these videos on narcissistic abuse. There could be a two type of viewers who would have come here, and one would be a general viewer who would not be a victim but would be very curious to learn what is a narcissistic abuse and would be having an intention to help somebody who's going through the abuse around them. So I welcome them and also suggest them to help the victims very seriously and understand their pain. And secondly, I would like to welcome the fellow victims who are in the same journey as I am traveling. And this initiative of mine is to declare to them that they are not alone, and there are so many people like us who are voicing against this narcissistic abuse by documenting their abuse and educating the public by creating awareness through YouTube. I welcome those fellow victims wholeheartedly and to understand the abuse and how to recover from the abuse. My intention of video making, as I already told, it is to share my experience of abuse and my struggle presently, what I am going through, and to also share the literature which I was going through for last 5 years after I realized that my abuse was narcissistic. Secondly, this intention of video making is purely to document the abuse to any system that needs what I have been going through and why I have decided to cut off all the abusers, say for my parents and my sisters and my relatives, and I am independent and hereby declare my separation as there is no procedure in the court or any legal system to declare my separation from my parents. I also approached several psychiatrists or psychologists with sufficient evidences to expose my narcissistic parents who are very cruel and very abusive with serious uh, evidences. Still they were not helping me to document these abuses, so I have decided to document my abuse, being an adult, in the public forum, and leave to the viewers to decide how dramatic this abuse could have been for me. And it is my birthright and fundamental right, human right, to separate such an abuser and declare my separation from such a inhuman, demonic, narcissistic people. Also, my intention of making the video to help the victims like me who are a beginner in learning what is a narcissistic abuse and help them to give deeper insights which are not dealt by other victims to make them understand what they're going through and help them in the path of healing. I'm least interested in making money through YouTube videos or trying to become a narcissistic abuse coach or victims coach or somebody like that. And as I'm being an astrologer, I'm very content with my business, and I would do my consultations only on astrology, and I would be not interested much to do YouTube videos for earning money or creating popularity. We all know what is an abuse, and these days sexual abuse is very quite popular through the media's awareness, but physical abuse is also very common and understandable to most of the people, but most of the time the people don't understand what is a mental abuse, and it is very very difficult for a victim to expose a mental abuse or document such mental abuse and to escape, as these are very insidious type of abuses, especially when it is a narcissistic abuse. It could be both a physical and a mental abuse. But what is the main difference between a regular abuse and a narcissistic physical or a mental abuse? Is that a narcissistic abuse would be very, very slow and a long term abusive relationship, creating a complete destruction of a soul of the victim. I would like to bring here the definition of narcissistic abuse, which was given by one of the victims, same as Christian Hammer in the internet. It says narcissistic abuse is a soul crushing form of emotional abuse inflicted upon the victims by the narcissist. It is the most insidious form of abuse because it is a slow and a gradual erosion of your sense of self, your confidence, and your mental and emotional health. This is a very important aspect which people who are trying to help the victims or their own victims to understand here, that it is a soul crushing form of mental abuse. You lose yourself, you drain yourself, you get exhausted physically, mentally, not only at that level, even at the level of a soul, that your own birth becomes insignificant. You lose who are you, and you're completely lost in the midst, something like getting lost in the midst of a forest. This is a very insidious type of emotional abuse. There are two dimensions of insidious here. One is that when the victims are abused, the onlookers are unable to understand that the person is getting victimized, and the very funny and very surprising part is that the victim themselves don't know that they are getting victimized. Only after getting the knowledge that they are getting victimized, they can whistle blow to the public that they are getting victimized and seek help. So even after discovering that they are victims, Still, the public are not able to understand what is a serious narcissistic abuse. The victims lose themselves, including their physical health, mental health, their career, their finance, their all loved ones because of the abuser. They are sometimes even portrayed as a crazy one or a mentally retard, making them totally separated from the society and abusing them for lifelong. So, who are narcissists? A narcissist is a person who doesn't have empathy. He is always cunning, manipulative. He controls the victim in order to get benefits from them and to abuse them for their sadistical happiness. They engage in this abuse completely consciously, and this is where I'm completely conflicting and not accepting the idea of insecurity of the narcissistic psychopaths, because the modern psychiatry say that they are in their illusional or delusional world, and they are justifying that their abuse is an unconscious abuse as a regular mentally retarded person. This is where I am differing from the view of the psychiatry and bringing an awareness to the general public, stating that narcissistic abuse is a pure, conscious, planned abuse which is not unconscious at all. The narcissists are always somebody who are in wolf in sheep clothes. They act like innocent victims, but they are the abusers, and the victims are being abused innocently by the narcissists. So, where are the narcissists? The narcissists are everywhere. If you encounter one person who is a narcissist, then you can end up in a bad day. But if they are going to be your close relatives, then you are closed by these relatives. Uh, as I would say, the funny definition of narcissist, they have the ability to hijack everything in your life. So, my dear viewers, I'm going to make a series of detailed videos in the future. So, I would request you to encourage me with your positive comments and post more questions which could be answered as a video. This would improve my uh, understanding of narcissistic abuse and to thereby bring an awareness in the society better than the other people who have already engaged in this process. Thank you so much for listening to my video. See you through my next video. Bye bye.